Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hearty good morning to all of you here. I want to make special mention of my colleague from Tobago, Cabinet Minister, Mr. Hassel Bacchus, Minister of Digital Transformation. I want to salute Honourable Foster Cummings, even in his absence. He's not here today. I'm acting as Minister of Youth Development and National Service at this time as he's abroad. I want to recognize Mr. Rujanat Indar Singh, my colleague, a Member of Parliament for Couva South, Mr. Henry R. Wong, Chairman of the Couva Tabaki Talpara Regional Corporation, Mr. Ramchan Rajbal Maharaj, Councillor of the Electoral District of California, Point Lisa, Mrs. Beverly Reed Samuel, hard-working Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development. Please give her a round of applause. Ms. Satraji Maharaj, Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Digital Transformation. My dear friend, Mrs. Jennifer Batiste Primus, former Minister of Labour and Small Enterprise Development, huge advocate for development in Lisa's Gardens, Couva. Thank you for taking the time out to be here this morning. Mrs. Tamika Charles Phillip, CEO of Udicut. Ms. Fayola Balawa, President of the Lisa's Gardens Welfare Council, other council and community members. Mrs. Gwyneth Morris Alexander, Director of Community Development in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, heads of divisions of our ministry, and other members of staff, special awardees, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, hearty good morning, welcome. It's a great day for me today to be welcomed to Lisa's Gardens community. During my first stint as a Member of Parliament, or should I say as a Member of the Cabinet, I remember former Senator Jennifer Batiste Primus championing the cause of this community in Couva called Lisa's Gardens. At that time, coming from Tobago, I didn't know exactly what the community was like, but I imagined a place of family, a place of activity, a place of love and unity based on how she explained Lisa's Gardens, and she always championed for Lisa's Gardens. At that time, she was rallying or lobbying for a play park from HDC for Lisa's Gardens. That was about 2015, 2016, somewhere around that time. And I'm happy that we would have delivered that play park. And she didn't stop. After the play park, she came back with this community center, then supported by our colleague now, Foster Cummings. So I'm happy to get the opportunity to come, to see with my own eyes where Lisa Gardens is, what it's made of, and to see the beauty and the splendor of Lisa's Gardens and this entire community. It gives me privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the formal opening of this long-awaited Lisa's Gardens Community Center, state-of-the-art facility built with the community in mind. And I'm very happy that you've braved the weather, the inclement weather, to come here today, to be here with us. This morning, when I saw members of the ministry and people throughout Trinidad and Tobago somewhat panicking, some children not going to school and some people not going to work, I called Udicut and I said, hey, are we still on for today? He said, I can't explain that to Lisa's Gardens. We are on for today. Whoever shows up, we are going to be here. So I'm happy to be here. Community centers are, I like to call the lifeblood or the heart and soul of our communities. It's part of who we are as a people, as Trinbagonians. I've had the opportunity to live and work in different states in the US. I've interned in Switzerland. I've gone to many places and seen so much. And we beat them per capita as it relates to public institutions. Community centers, football fields, community spaces, and you want to ask why and how. did we become like this? I'm sure if you check up the Caribbean, you wouldn't find a country with over 300, 400 community centers to serve our population. It's a space for persons to come and meet and plan, to convert your ideas as a community into projects and programs that best suit you. These centers are major socializing hubs for the residents of that specific community, where persons gather for various activities, whether it's to hold concerts. Some people have their receptions for their weddings in the community center. And every community wants to have a community that is of that class, where you can come and have a decent event and feel proud of. So we are happy to deliver to Lisa's Gardens this morning. As I said before, we have over 300, I think about 400 community centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And it is indeed a part of our history, a part of our identity as a people. We became independent in 1962, and our founding father, Dr. Eric Williams, executed the Meet the People tour in 1963. That's 1 year after we became independent. And as a part of that Meet the People tour, he traveled from community to community, finding out what are the needs of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He then created several projects and programs geared towards creating a unified Trinidad and Tobago. Because in creating Trinidad and Tobago, in developing a country and becoming independent of our colonial leaders and building form and structure to our community, he recognized we came from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different races, and so on. And it was important for us to come together as one whole. Yes, to celebrate and rejoice in where we came from, or cultures, or backgrounds, or different practices, and so on. But he wanted us to see beauty in that difference, beauty in that diversity, and therefore created programs like the Best Village, Prime Minister's Best Village competition was created in 1963. So yes, you celebrate coming from India, we celebrate coming from Africa, but we meet and we bind this thing together and develop a culture that is Trinidad and Tobago. That had been important then, it still is important now. And a part of the programs and projects that he was created, you had special works program. And that is where URP and so on came from, where you utilize the skills of the people of the communities to build infrastructure and to build programs that would help in their social inclusion and generating economic activity to feed that said community. Development of community centers had been a key part of that. And that is how we have so many community centers, creating a place for us to come, to meet, to teach you about me, and you teach me about you, and we learn discipline, production, and tolerance of each other. And that is a very important thing for us in Trinidad and Tobago. Community centers aren't just a physical piece of infrastructure. It is where we aspire so that we can achieve. So ladies and gentlemen, these centers represent centers of hope. It represents our hopes and our dreams as a country, one people, dedicated to building a brighter and better Trinidad and Tobago for all. The COVID-19 pandemic had caused us to have to stay at home, social distances. We couldn't open community centers as we would have liked to. So community activity had been at a low. So I was happy in this year when we were able to roll back some of the COVID-19 restrictions and allow the opening of community centers once again. We have the Best Village program happening once again. 190 community groups have already enrolled to participate in Best Village program. They are already participating. We have 21 girls who are going to, ladies who are going to vie for the Larian Rivet title this year. So community development is alive and kicking. And as we sit here today towards opening this new community center for the people of Lisa's Gardens, even as we celebrate 60 years of independence this year, and we celebrate 59, or we start our celebration of 60 years of Best Village program. As we celebrate 60 years of democracy, as we celebrate 60 years of living together as a unified people, as we sing our national anthem, the young people played the national anthem this morning, saying, forged from the love of liberty. Forged from the love of liberty, created from that idea to be free, to be who we want to be, to do what we want to do, each and every one of us, in the fires of hope and prayer. Because today we live the life that our ancestors and our forefathers have dreamt of. They hoped and they prayed for these days of freedom, where we can benefit from all that is Trinidad and Tobago. They hoped and prayed for the opportunity for each of us to make our contribution to the development of Trinidad and Tobago, for our ability to be able to influence who leads, how they govern, who forms government, who forms opposition, for us to have a say as a people as to how we use our facilities, what programs come to our community centers and what programs don't. So today, we are not just celebrating the opening of physical infrastructure. We're celebrating living here, growing together, side by side, hand in hand, protecting and preserving democracy. And an important part of democracy is being able to develop the country in such a way that it benefits not some, but benefits every single one, no matter which political party is in power. So when one party is in power, another area should not suffer, because we are all taxpayers. This fight for democracy, for freedom, this forge for the love of liberty, so that we can all benefit from the patrimony of Trinidad and Tobago, that is what a government is about. That is what our people are supposed to be about. That is what leadership is supposed to be about. So when we come here and we speak to what is taking place in the country, yes, we as government, we have to take hard decisions, make hard decisions, and take necessary actions, but it's not for the personal benefit of me or my political party or the people from up on my street. It's for the benefit of every single one of us. So that young man who came here, Mr. Beckles, and spoke about the pen and the paper and using it to write your own stories, and to stand here as a young man coming out of a government-funded program, being able to read, to write, to articulate. All this happens at our community centers. So this is serious business, if I dare say, brothers and sisters. This is serious business as we open this community center in Hoover to provide opportunities for each and everyone. And as we take responsibility for the good, or what people think are the good, we have to also take responsibility for what people think are the not so good. So yes, we had to make the necessary changes in the energy sector, but that is because it was no longer economical to do so. We have to shut down some industries in order to spend money in sectors that could cause everybody to grow and to provide opportunities for the school children who are among us today. So yes, we take the hard decisions and make the necessary take the necessary action, not for ourselves personally or for any specific political party, but so that every boy and girl who get up in the morning, puts on their clothes and go to school can have something to aspire to, can have something to work towards, that there would be some part of the country's patrimony left for them too. So you would hear cries, give us all now. We want a race here, we want a race here, we want this, give us all the state lands, give us this. But what are we leaving for the children? And a member spoke earlier about the old community center on Balizé Street and hoping that it remains in the hands of the government. I want to tell you the decisions made by the government are for the benefit of the people, all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. No decision. No decision is made for any private political, personal aggrandizement. It's what's done in the best interest of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is a part of preserving the democracy. Because when you give people the opportunity to live in a democratic country, you go out there and you make your decision freely as you vote for this one, you vote for that one. But it must be based on truth. It must be based on truth. Because if you provide people with lies, you are distorting that democracy. And they're going out there and they make decisions on false information. So I say to you, all of you, if you have information that there is somebody in public office that is operating in their personal interest and robbing the people of Trinidad and Tobago, take that to the police. Don't bring that here to misinform people at such an auspicious occasion. We came from all different corners and braved the weather this morning for that love of liberty, for that love of our country, for the love of our community, that little boy who stood here and spoke about writing that story could one day become Prime Minister or President of this Trinidad and Tobago. So for me, it's not just the opening of a community center. It's continuing the legacy of a visionary leader who came here and gave us an independent Trinidad and Tobago in 1962 that we could stand here and celebrate 60 years later and open yet another community center. Never tired, never weary, still bringing people together for the best interest of the community and the country. This is our job. And we would talk about what has the government done for us, or what has a political party done for us, or what has one prime minister done for us. Government after government, administration after administration, we continue to invest from play park, housing development, community center, and we as a people have to ask ourselves, what investment are we making to the country? What contributions are we making? Anybody to come here to fool you, to tell you, oh, place all your burden on the government can give you everything, it's a lie. And they're trying to ride your backs to office. Brothers and sisters, this Trinidad and Tobago that we solemnly pledge to dedicate our lives to the service of our God and our country, to honor our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and our elders, and all those in authority, that is our job, each and every one of us. And don't you ever be forced or fooled to think otherwise. We are all responsible for this community that we are building. So, as we grant to the people of Lisa's Garden this community space, those of you with talents, those of you with knowledge, come here and share and build each other, despite your political background, despite your ethnicity, despite your social and economical background. This is for all of us, because politicians come and go. I entered this thing at 28, I am 40 now. Yeah? That's 12 years. I still have a little thing in me. Some say plenty. But I will tell you, as long as there is life and breath in me, I will be fighting to carry on that legacy to develop the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And no matter what side of the divide you stand, this is the only place we have to really live and to call our own. We were born here not by mistake. We all have work to do here. So anybody tell you to just put a dead weight on the government, it doesn't work like that. And we stand here today because we stand on the backs of those who came before us in our communities, in government, and so on. Somebody sacrificed so that we can be here. Somebody sacrificed and left this piece of land available so that we can come and build a community center here. If the people of yesterday were saying, give us all the land and all the money right now, there will be nothing left for the people tomorrow. So we have to be responsible in government. And it cannot just be about us. It has to be about the children who are coming up too. I came from a family of 8 children. We are all 1 year apart. So I'm 40, the brother before me is 41, the one after me is 39. The one who is 41 will turn 42 in December so that I can get to turn 41 next January. But I want you to understand something I learned from watching my mother. We all were on Mummy Babas. Yeah? But as she feeds one, and one gets fat or able to go on, you go on so that somebody else could get on Mummy Babas. All of us can't suck down Mummy Babas the whole time. And if I stay on Mummy Babas, the rest wouldn't get any. I have to think about the younger ones after me. I'm the fourth of 8, so there are 4 little ones who came after me. If I say, Mommy, give me all, what would happen to them? And Trinidad and Tobago have nurtured all of us. Whether we decide to acknowledge it or not, have nurtured all of us throughout the years and made some kind of investment. Whether it's in education, in social programs, in agriculture, then and even now. You have the Youth Agriculture Homestead program that has recently taken over 150 young men, giving them technical resources, financial resources, and at the end of their program, giving them the ability to get land for homes and so on. That is happening right now. So yes, you may shut down in one area, but you're opening up in another area in order so that everybody, not some people, some families from some backgrounds and some political party to grow. Agriculture is for us all. And as we go from ministry to ministry, you have education providing scholarships. We sit here and we cry in Trinidad and Tobago about not having this and not having that. There are countries of the Caribbean who still to this day, if your parents don't have the money to send you to primary and secondary school, you don't go. We have benefited for education for all in Trinidad and Tobago from 1962 to now, and that did not happen. That was a policy decision taken that we still keep alive and strong. Brothers and sisters, in the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, we continue to build the different facilities and execute the different programs so that everybody can benefit, whether it's the Diego Martin Regional Complex that we just opened, Brian Lara Academy in Taruba, and yeah, in Couva, which is being developed into a sporting hub. You have Atto Bolden Stadium there, you have the National Aquatic Center there, cycling for all of us. The people up north or down south in the cry out and say, look, Couva gain everything, but there has to be something for everybody. So brothers and sisters, it's a long journey, an arduous one, but we have to take each step hand in hand as one nation. So for me, today, it's not just the opening of a community center, but yet another effort of the government as leaders to bring people together, to share of your time and your talent. I teach you about me, you teach me about you, and we dwell together in unity. And that is what it's supposed to be about. When you go into the voting booth, you vote who you want to vote for. But until that, before and after that day, we live right here in unity for the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Political parties come and go. There are some people who thought now would last forever. And the list goes on and on and on. But no matter what happens at the political level, we the people have to deal with the implications. So we have to be wise. And we have to be able to separate the sheep from the goat. We have to be able to separate sense from nonsense and always do what's in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. So today, as a member of this government, as a member of this cabinet, I stand here proud and strong. We could have given you a regular community center, but we went the distance to provide a state-of-the-art facility that fits 300 people. Computer room, training room, internet facility for internet cafe, kitchen, different areas so that you can develop and have programs to build you as a people, that the children would benefit tomorrow. This is our contribution. And government after government will continue to make our contributions too. So brothers and sisters, this is all Trinidad and Tobago to protect, to preserve, to enjoy, and to defend. Defend what you have, Couva. Because people who come to tell you you have nothing makes it easy to take it out from under you. I'm telling you, I want to say it again. People convince you that you have nothing going for you and they could do better for you when they want to take what you have from you. I say so. Tell them I say so. Brothers and sisters, as a young woman, as a young single woman, you ever date a fella, things going good, things going nice, but some girlfriend come and tell you, see, he fat, he car old, he don't dress nice, he don't. And you go and run the man. Next 2 weeks, pick up, he gone with somebody else. And at the end of the day, you lost. You lost. He pick up somebody else and spend any money he used to spend on you on somebody else. You're vexed. That's the way. When you don't value what you have, it's easy for somebody to come and take it from you. Yeah, you have a phone. Yeah, old phone, people, and then somebody else take it and make good use of it. I'm saying to you, the struggles that we go through as a people, we go through together. When it's COVID-19 and we were going through our trials, we went through our trials together. We make our sacrifices together. We stayed home and got paid together. And now it's time for us to come back out and work together in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, I could go on and on and on, but you're big and you have sense. And I'm telling you, what we do here is for all of Trinidad and Tobago. And any decision we make as a government is for the benefit of all of Trinidad and Tobago. Not just for us who have gotten fat on mommy bubbles, but for those who coming up and need some sustenance and need some nurturing, so that 10, 20, 30 years later we could sit and say, hey, the young ones have gotten bigger. And that guy who stand here this morning, Mr. Beckles, would write his own story, and you as Cuba would write your own story with your paper and your pen, and we'll all turn back and look and say, it is well. So ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Cuba, ride on, rally on, invest, do your work. To work is to pray, as Dr. Eric Williams said. Continue to build this Trinidad and Tobago bigger, better, brighter. At the end of the day, it's about the people and the people only. Thank you. May God bless you. God bless you.